Hi, so I'm making a video on how to connect the RMC-2 to PTC-150'S and the RMC-2 being used as DHCP server, which essentially means this RMC-2 will be essentially a router, okay? With this, you will need a network switch, or a PoE network switch as well. So again, with this is going to turn into the RMC-2 to a DHCP server, and we do not want your network switch or PoE to be connected to the network, okay? You do not want no local network connected to it just by itself with the RMC-2, your 150's, okay? You will also need a laptop, a Windows machine connected to that same switch as well, okay? So we do want to make sure and note that it does need to be a Windows machine because the software you need to use is only compatible with Windows at the moment, okay? So with that, this is what this video is going to show. What I'm going to start off with first is the 150 cameras, okay? I have a regular 150 here, and I have a 150T over here. The 150 has the DVIP port on the back, and that's where we're connecting this to your network switch. From there, you want the back dip switches to be all in the down position. Next, you want the dip switches underneath 1 and 4 to be up. This will activate the DVIP switch so it can communicate on a network. 150T has the HD base T at the bottom, and this is getting powered on by an HD base T receiver. You will need a receiver for the 150T. You cannot communicate to the DVIP port without the receiver because the DVIP port is on the receiver itself. So HD base T is powered on from here. Then this DVIP port connects to the network, and that's how you communicate with this 150Ts, okay? Same dip switches in the back are down. Dip switches underneath will be 1 and 4 up, everything else down as well, okay? Step 1 is just making sure those are set correctly for the dip switches. 2 is just making sure the 150s are on the latest firmware, okay? For the sake of this video, both are already on the latest firmware, and I'll show you what that latest firmware is. You will need an IR remote to access the menu. Hit the menu button, go down to System, enter, update software, and this should be the latest version for the PTC-150's as of May of 2025. Both of these will have the same firmware. Please confirm and check, make sure both are the latest firmware. After you check, exit the menu. The 150s are set. They're connected. The DVIP port's set to the network. And then the 150 is connected to the network as well. The next thing you want to do is open up and use the DVIP network config tool. You should already have this related with the how to update and check the firmware on the RMC-2. So from there, you would need to open up the DVIP tool, search bar here. It's already up there, but I'm just showing you, just type out DVIP. It will show up, and go ahead and open. I will say, have laptop Wi-Fi off, just so there's no confliction, okay? It'll be better to do that, just that way there's no network confliction. It's just off, and you're just using it to communicate with the DVIPs of the cameras, okay? So with that, I'm gonna choose my network card. And here we go, we have the two 150 cameras on here. We have 2 different IPs. What we want to do is make sure that these cameras are set to their default and they're set to DHCP, okay? We'll go through each camera and do that process now, okay? The first camera is the 150, which is on top of the 200.110. Click on it. As you can see here, it's set to a fixed IP. We do not want it to be set to a fixed IP, so the best thing I'm going to do is revert this to default, okay? So what I'm going to do is, let's try to see if this works. Unclick Use Fixed IP, and then hit default. I'm hoping it's going to save on DHCP for default, so let's see if this works. Okay, now it's asking me to reboot the device. I'm going to unplug power, plug it back in. In theory, what should happen is the 150 will go back to its default IP of 100.100, but be on DHCP. Unclicking fixed IP will make it DHCP. So I'm gonna wait for this to boot up, and then we'll confirm. Enter menu mode is basically when it's ready. I'm gonna clear the IPs and scan again. So the 150 is on top and the 150T is at the bottom. It's defaulted to its 100.100. Let's see if DHCP saved. So that's good. That's what we want. Use fixed IP not to be checked, and it's on its default 100.100. So for me, I could clearly see the 150 is on top and 150T is on bottom. If the names do not show and you can't tell what camera you're working on, you have the model name here, but also you want to go based off the MAC address, okay? The MAC address will be underneath the camera for reference, and this is what it will look like. MAC address there. So if, for instance, you have more than 2 cameras and they're the same model and you can't tell the difference, look at the MAC address, go at the bottom of the camera, and that's how you tell the difference, okay? So this camera, the 150, is on DHCP and its default IP. Second camera is on its default IP, but it's not on DHCP. So what we want to do is unclick fixed, just hit save, and then power cycle that camera now. Camera is putting up. Enter menu mode. Okay, so that one's ready. I'm gonna go ahead and scan again just to make sure both of them. Okay, 100.100, DHCP is on. 100.100, DHCP is on. Great. So we have those 2 cameras already. Now what we want to do is introduce the RMC2. If your network switch is PoE, you will just need one Cat6 cable to plug into the RMC2 and power on the unit and have communication for it. If you do not have a PoE switch, you would connect the DVI-P port first, then plug in power, and then the RMC2 will turn on. It does come with a USB-C cable. You can connect it to your laptop and the laptop should power it on, okay? So for the sake of the video, I have a PoE switch, so I'm just gonna use one cable. So what we need to do first is put the RMC2 in DHCP server mode, essentially turning it into a router. What you want to do is hold cam 3 and slow. Then what we're gonna do is plug in power, okay? What we want to look for is fast to be red. When fast is red, that is making it DHCP server, and that's what we want to do, okay? So let me do that now. So cam 3 and slow, and then plug in power. If fast is already red, then you're already on DHCP server. If it's not on red, it will turn white. Unplug power, do the same process again, plug it in, and then fast should be red. But let's go ahead and do that process now. Cam 3 and slow. I am doing it one-handed, so bear with me. Okay. So fast was white, so what we want to do is unplug power again. Cam 3, slow. Plug power again. Fast is on. It is now in DHCP server mode. It's going to start spinning. Once it starts spinning, please power off your camera. Boot cycle it again. And then the RMC2 is going to start signing it. And as you can see, it found one camera, which is the one I boot cycled. Go ahead and do the second one. Now we already finished scanning before I finish booting cycle the second camera. What we're gonna do is do a scan to see if communication to the RMC2. So bear with me. So again, it found one camera because when I power cycled it, it automatically picked up. It did scan too fast, so let's see if it did pick up the second one. In theory, what I'll need to do is hit cam 2, and it's not choosing. Okay, so it did go too fast. What we want to do is just confirm if the first one connected, and it did. So now what we want to do is put this in scan mode, okay? Scan mode is going to be cam 1 and fast, okay? So unplug power, hold cam 1 and fast. Bear with me again, one-handed, do apologize. They're flashing. Once these start flashing, I have 2 cameras, so I'm gonna choose 2. If you have 1, you do 1. If you have 3, choose 3. If that process is a little bit too fast, I will go through it again just one more time, just for the sake of the video, okay? But as you can see right now, 2 cameras are lit up, so the RMC2 did find 2 IPs, okay? So let's let it finish doing the cycle. While I was doing this video too, I know I power cycle them. You might not need to do a power cycle. You might just need to unplug the DVIP and plug it back in. Same goes for the 150T. Unplug DVIP, plug it back in, and in theory you should connect again. A new IP, and then the RMC2 should find it. Okay, it's still doing the scan process. Okay, it is now flashing. When it's flashing like this, the RMC2 wants you to assign what cameras are going to be 1 and camera 2, if that makes sense. So I'll show you what I mean right now. Is preset, you're going to click on camera 1. Then preset 1 and 2, if you click on this, it should activate the tally lights on the 150 to show you which one you're choosing, okay? Let's just say, for example, I want the 150T to be camera 1 and this to be camera 2, okay? So with that being said, let's hit preset 2. Preset 1, sorry. Preset 1, in theory, is camera 1. I do not want that one to be camera 1. So what I'm gonna do is hit preset 2. Tally light went away. This camera is being selected, so I want this to be camera 1, which it's already tally lights are red. Once tally lights is red and you confirm that's the camera you want, go ahead and click on camera 1. That is choosing now as camera 1. Process of elimination is gonna put the second camera on camera 2. Once you assigned it, it's gonna do its process again. And now we have communication. So in theory, camera 1 should be the 150T, and then automatically assign this camera as camera 2. So camera 1 is moving. Hit camera 2. This camera is moving. Okay. Again, I'm going to show the scan process one more time just for the sake of the video. It does go fast, so let me do it one more time, okay? For the scan process, again, I'm going to unplug power. Camera 1 and camera 1 and fast. Plug in power. All of them will flash red. Once these flash red by themselves, you have 2 cameras. I'm going to choose 2. If you have 1, do 1. If you have 3, do 3. But if I'm not mistaken, if you just have 1 camera, it wouldn't do the flashing. It should just connect, okay? So with that, again, what the RMC2 is wanting is for you to assign what cameras it wants to be, okay? Right now, let's choose camera 1 again. And then preset 1 is cam 1. And then preset 2 is going to show that camera. So now what I want to do is have this camera 1 now, okay? So I want to make sure the tally lights is on for this one. That one's on, so hit preset 1. This tail light activates, and then you click on camera 1. Then my process of elimination, that 150T, is going to turn into camera 2. The signing process will only happen if you have more than one camera. If you just have one camera, that scan process will only assign one camera, and you should be able to communicate. Okay, in theory, this should be camera 1. That should be camera 2. Camera 1. Camera 2. After you're done, all you should do now, unplug, you're done for the day, come back in. Again, this is the process that takes a while. I think the manual mentions it scans for about 1 minute and 30 seconds. Once it's done, it should turn solid. Okay, once it's done scanning, it will go back to cam 1 and fast. Camera 1 is moving. Click on camera 2, and camera 2 can now move. And that is how you connect the PTC-150'S using the RMC2 as DHCP server. It's essentially a router connected to a network switch only, not to your network, to the 150'S. Okay, thank you.